I just, we're over the target. The big boys, the defense industry knows it, and they're gonna spend millions in these next elections working on defeating people like myself and Luna and Nancy Mace. They'll go after Gates and a few, and probably Andy as well. And so, it's just, and I don't know what they'll do on the Democrat side. I'm not privileged to, any kind of nonsense over there, but I'm sure it'll be very close to the same thing. And they'll be in their ear saying, "Hey man, you need to back off this thing." I mean, I can't tell you how many conversations I've had like that, and people telling me to, some of them are my friends saying, "Hey man, you need to back off this deal." Is this, and so I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see.
And a lot of times that's done through, more or less ridicule. I understand that. That's, I've been at this a while, and I've seen the changes. It's much better than it used to be. I mean, I can't imagine you even discussing this before that article came out in the New York Times back in 2017.
Yeah.
This wouldn't be a discussion any of us would have.
Yeah.
So I think that's really made a lot of changes.
I said that at our public hearing that got so much publicity. At the end, I said, if one thing we accomplished today is that the people that have been made fun of and laughed at and ridiculed, there's people up here that believe you, and that we are trying to get to the bottom of it, and that that was it. I mean, these people, they're Democrats, Republicans, heck, they're mugwumps. I don't know, they're everything, and they deserve to be heard. And it was actually the largest attended hearing, I was told. I think one of the old timers told me in like 15 years. They had to set up another room where people could watch. They couldn't, and people wouldn't give up their seats. I don't know if they had catheters in or what, but they didn't get up to go to the bathroom or anything, brother.
That's right.
It was people in the crowd from the UFO community.
I was the second to last person in the door, and the only reason I got in is because I called some people out that cut in front of us, and luckily it scared them off. And second to last person in, and boy, that was historic. And I couldn't believe the people in the hallways. From what I understand, there was over 1,000 people showed up. So you can't tell me there's not some interest in this.
Yeah, I got up. I had to be at Fox News at about 4:30 to do a 5 o'clock show, and I was coming out the door, and there were people outside, and they.
That's when I met you. Yeah.
Yeah. And they knew who I was, and it was encouraging, but I hope we gave them a little bit of hope.
I think so. And I think you have been very instrumental in this, and I really want to thank you for pushing this, and I hope that you don't give up. And I think that, like you said, there's a lot of power behind this not coming out. But I think it's going to have to be addressed at this point, one way or another. And one of the things I think that was probably an issue was the eminent domain issue in Schumer's bill. That may have been like a step too far. That they could have maybe clarified, yes, we do have it, but the eminent domain part, I think, is what would really cause an issue with people, private companies with lots of funds behind them. They don't want to lose that.
I think some things that are going to leak out or locations are where information or some of this material or objects are, and I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Okay. Another along those lines, another quick question on that is, and I've asked this of Lou Elizondo and maybe Chris Mellon. I think I've asked him, but I can't remember. But have you yourself seen information that you can't talk about, but just that you think is extremely compelling?
Yes.
Yeah. I knew that would be the answer, but I just had to hear you say it.
Yes. That's all right.
Yeah. So as we move forward, what are the next steps? Are there going to be some more hearings? Are you aware of any of that?
Yeah, we of course we had the double secret one in the SCIF, and some things we're going to help. That's going to help us formulate, and that helped. I don't know if it converted anybody, but it sure it raised some eyebrows. I noticed in the room, and I was pleased with that. I threw a couple of softballs, but I wanted everybody else to talk because I already knew the answer to my questions. And people be.
Now, what about when Grush had, I heard that he was not able to go into the SCIF because he lost his clearance or something along those lines. How did that?
That's a bunch of, that ought to tick taxpayers off even more, because all that is an attempt to block the truth.
I agree. Well, I expected you to be on for only 15 minutes, and we're closing in on 35, and
Yes.
It's been really wonderful. And I guess in closing, is there any type of hope you can give the listeners with this whole situation?
The hope's in the election. That they're going to come after us, all of us. I mean, I've got some great, people give me a lot of credit, but the committee members are where it's at. They're the ones I could show up and then, you're not going to get anybody. They're me and nobody, in my own blog or something. But excuse me, but I think that we should, you got to support your folks. You got to vote for them. You got to get out, speak the truth about them, because the other side is going to wear us out.
Yeah.
And they want to shut us down, and they'll use avenues. They won't say, oh, the UFO stuff. They'll go some other angle, but it's a lot to do with that. And we've rattled a lot of big cages.
Yes. Yeah. Again, thank you so much. You doing the good fight. And I know that everybody in the UFO community has really appreciated that. I've had all kinds of people, tell me how much they appreciate what you've been doing out there.
Okay. Well, you can follow me on Twitter or X at Tim Burchett, and we'll get on it. Thank you, brother. Keep putting the truth out there. Nervous.
You bet. Hey, thank you everyone for watching that. I am back, and I have Dean Aliotto from the West Coast. Dean, welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be here in the West Coast.
Yeah, so we watched that pre-record. And so what do you think overall? You've heard him talk before, but, he's I thought the most interesting part is that, when he said that he kind of kicked the hornet's nest, and, that he's a little worried about that.
Yeah. So by kicking the hornet's nest, I think specifically, and he started out talking about this at the beginning, he said, it's not just the UFO material and evidence that he's trying to get. He's also trying to get basically DOD, the military industrial complex, to be accountable for all these funds. Yeah. That's a bigger hornet's nest than UFO artifacts, etc. It doesn't seem that way, but it is. I mean, this is an organization, a company, if you will, to a degree, that has, budgetary needs that continue on. And yes, there's mystery around that. And some of it is mystery that should be with regards to, generate new technology and defensive technology. But to the extent that it is, the math has never mathed out, if you will.
Yeah. I mean, just the fact that he mentioned that there could be up to $500 billion of missing funds, in general over the years, that is just absolutely crazy. And, they can't, when they talk about $500 screwdrivers and stuff like that, this is money that goes, it just plain disappears,
Yeah. And I started counting, and to what the number was. And I realized that it was going to be 15,000 years before I finished counting. So I gave up. Yeah. I got hungry. I had a sandwich.
Yeah. How many years did you get?
Oh, I got like maybe 5 dog years. Not too bad.
Yeah. So yeah, I think I really think he's a character, and really enjoyed him, and it was great to see him when I was in Washington D.C. And so there's someone that keeps talking about the DataBricks. So I'd like to bring up exactly what I know about them. And it's been such a, I don't know, 2 or 3 years since I interviewed the person that handled those bricks from the Hawkeye that landed on the Nimitz. And basically what happened, that if I remember, I may get a little bit of this wrong, but it's mostly going to be clear. So they captured these Tic Tacs, a number of them up above, the operations of the training mission. And so they definitely had on their data, they had that information, and not video. We're talking about just the DataBricks. And they put them in the safe and logged them like they do every single time after, an operation. And someone came aboard the ship. I don't know how they got their helicopter, I guess. And I believe that's what it was. And he thought it might have been someone from the Air Force, wasn't sure by his uniform that he was wearing. He was just unsure, what branch, but most likely Air Force. And then the captain came down with him, and he had to open the safe and hand him the DataBricks from that mission only.